Joe Mantegna here, and you're enjoying the Cocktail Guru podcast. And as you can see, we've got plenty of cocktails.
Jonathan Pogash is the cocktail guru, a mixologist and hospitality expert.
See? You know big words. Dude, I'm the cocktail guru. Cheers.
Jeffrey's his dad, a wine and spirits author, historian, and consultant.
No, I do my homework.
With decades of experience, they're always looking for the next big thing. Join this father and son duo for a few laughs as they explore the hottest trends in hospitality with the service industry's leading trailblazers and tastemakers. Welcome to the Cocktail Guru Podcast.
John, you had a great, splendid, marvelous trip to Las Vegas, and I wish I could have been with you, but I had other obligations. I'm sorry. So
you did. I know. I keep going. I keep going on these trips, and you're not included.
Yeah. And it's been years since I've been to Las Vegas, Viva Las Vegas, and I'm way overdue for another trip.
It was a great time. I was able to record some live episodes and interview some really great people because I was there with the Wine and Spirits Wholesalers of America organization, and it was their Access Live conference. So it was quite a show. Yeah, it really was fun.
And you got to hang out with Tony Abuganim in his bar. And you got to do a guest bartender stint at the Vault.
That's right.
The prestigious Vault. I wish I had been there.
Bellagio.
See it? At the Bellagio, yeah.
And I was I hosted a brand battle competition, which is like a Shark Tank for liquor companies. It was a lot of fun.
Well, and you also got to schmooze with some really great Hollywood stars.
Yes.
And interviewed them, and you really had a grand old time.
Well, if you can guess who the person is that is coming up on this episode, he was there in Las Vegas, and I got to sit with him, and we chit-chatted a little bit. I'll give you a hint.
See, now I'm really jealous.
I'll give you a hint.
I really don't. Please do.
The hint is Criminal Minds.
It must be Joe Mantegna.
Yes.
It must be. Yes.
Yes, it is.
Must be, because he plays supervisory special agent David Rossi on Criminal Minds.
That's right. Well, Joe, we're on a first name basis now. Joe was in some really great things. Some great
Godfather Part 3.
Right, Godfather Part 3.
The Simpsons.
Yes, his voice in The Simpsons. And we talked about that a little
Fat
bit.
Tony.
But before we get to the interview with Joe Mantegna, I sat down with my good pal, Paul Imbesi, who's with North American Beverage Company and Barritt's, the ginger beer and sodas. And we had
We love Barritt's.
Yeah.
Love
he was on the floor. We actually, I interviewed him in this little pod situation that they have for podcasting, a podcast pod, on the floor of the Access Live competition. So we'll hear from Paul, and then we'll hear from Joe. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. So away we go.
All right, Jonathan Pogash here again with the Cocktail Guru Podcast. We're once again here live in Las Vegas at Access Live with the WSWA, and it has been an amazing time, and we've had some amazing guests on. And I'm here with one of my good pals from the industry, Paul Imbesi from North American Beverage. How you doing, man?
I'm doing well, Jonathan. How are you?
Yeah, good.
Thanks for having
we
me on.
see each other pretty often when we go to conferences and travel around. But we usually get into this one question with our guests every time we have someone on. If there was one cocktail that you could have if you were stranded on a desert island, what would that be?
It is a good question. And I have to say, if I'm going to do one cocktail for that humid, tropical, sunny island, it's going to be the pina colada.
Oh, that's a really good one. A lovely, delicious, icy pina colada. I like that.
Absolutely.
So let's get into, how you got to where you are, got into this industry, this wild world of spirits and beverages. People know that I got into it because of my dad, and I think you work with your dad. Is that not right?
It is. It's pure nepotism.
Yeah,
it's
couple nepo babies right over here.
I was completely unqualified. And they just, said, all right, let's just, have a drink, relax.
So what happened? You grew up, he was working in beverages, and you just kind of grew up with it?
Yeah. Actually, the interesting part is my father and his father were in the beverage industry on the soda side. So they sold 7-Up. And so they have a lot of, So my grandfather Imbesi, his family came over from Sicily. So, and then he started in Philadelphia, where they were born and raised, had a bakery, and he got into 7-Up, into selling 7-Up.
Wow.
So, yeah, I didn't think I was going to be there, and started out in journalism, and it was great experience, great lessons. About 2008, it was when the economy was just tanking, and was looking around at different things, and my father said, hey, if you're interested in it, and it would be more sales. And I said, well, thank you for the offer. I came aboard and haven't looked back. And that's when we just about started. This was like September, October 2008. We started selling Barritt's ginger beer in January 2009. And
Yeah, that's probably right
great.
around the time I met you. I feel like it was probably right when you started.
Yeah, about 15 years.
Yeah,
So
it's crazy. I love working with my dad. He doesn't. He's not a partner of mine or anything like that. But I hire him. I take pity on him. That's what he always likes to say that. Carrie, our producer, is shaking her head. He that's what he wants. He wants me to take pity on him and to take advantage of him because he is an old
nice.
man. No, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on. It's because of the late night last night. That's what's going on. But what are there? I mean, I assume you like working with your dad.
I love it. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
do.
what are some things that you've realized that you've noticed as you get older? As we get older, I noticed that. Listen, he's getting. It's tough to say, but he's getting up there in age, and I'm able to just kind of connect with him way more than I could ever do before. And for me, this is like I want to take advantage of it. Beautiful, right?
Yeah.
And this tonic water, I'm gonna try it.
I can help you there.
There you go.
There
Thank
you are.
That's delicious too.
All right.
And how do you sell these? You sell them in the cans and in bottles?
Just cans.
Just cans?
Yeah, we just launched with our 4-pack, 7.5 ounce, good cocktail size, less waste.
Yes, it is
And-
good cocktail size.
Yeah,
I like that.
and just seeing as the industry's kind of gone from consumers telling us less bottles, more cans. So there's just a lot more things in aluminum cans these days.
Yeah.
So that's why we did it.
How about getting onto airplanes? I mean,
that would be
cool, right?
Wonderful.
Anyone out there?
Do you know anybody at American?
Yeah, anyone out there want to put some Barritts into those carts?
Please
be
get
great.
in touch with Jonathan. I'll get in touch with Jonathan.
What's next for you? Are you off anywhere else after this? After Vegas? Do you travel a lot with the business?
Not
Or
as
no?
much.
No.
Not as much anymore. Yeah. So no, at home with wife and our 2 little girls, which is lovely.
Yes, that's right. And how old are your kids?
4 and 2.
Right. So
Yeah.
what's that work-life balance like?
It's good, actually. Yeah,
Good.
it's post.
What's the secret? So what's the secret?
Secret
You
is-
found the? Have you found the holy grail?
Yeah, but I can't share it. Sorry. I'd have to kill you.
Jeez. Okay. Well, maybe off camera you can.
No,
share
yeah,
that.
off camera. I'll let you
All
know
right.
what it is.
because it is quite a balance. We all know that.
Yeah, it is.
But this has been a lovely conversation, and
Thank
I know
you.
there are a lot of. So the point of coming to Access Live is for brands to make appointments with distributors, so that you can get a wide expanse across the country.
Yeah.
And you set up appointments, and you've got some amazing appointments coming up, right?
Absolutely.
I
We have. Oh, sorry. We have distributors from coast to coast. We're about to talk with Horizon Beverage Rhode Island, which is actually that's one of our oldest distributors. We started with them in July 2009. It's also for us. Great opportunity. We have our team gets together annually at WSWA. So I love seeing it because I love being there because we get to be in person.
Yeah.
So, only time all year because we're all road warriors.
So it's like
nice.
it's kind of like a company meeting for you.
Yeah.
A bit of a retreat.
Yeah, we've been doing remote work from home for years. So
Yeah, that's crazy. Well, this has been a really lovely conversation, and I wish
Absolutely.
you the best of luck here at Access Live.
Thanks for having me, John.
Yeah, thanks.
Take
man.
care.
All right, you too.
All my years as a profiler, I studied killers, but I never studied what a pandemic would do to them. They couldn't move, they couldn't hunt. So they started communicating to become better predators. The BAU is different.
Where others see monsters, we see patterns.
Where are we with the profile?
This guy isn't a textbook.
We need to get to the bottom of this.
Maybe it's time we call our expert.
We promised we wouldn't.
I don't know who else could help.
God, I hate how easy it is to pick this back up.
Do you need my login or password? This is the biggest case we've ever had. Somebody is feeding you clues.
He's been setting us up this whole time.
And there's another theory we have to consider.
There isn't enough time.
This isn't your burden alone.
Then you explain why we failed.
No, it's not over. We're just getting started.
All right. Well, we are here once again doing a live recording of the Cocktail Guru podcast at Access Live, WSWA convention. I'm Jonathan Pogash, the Cocktail Guru, of course, and we've been having amazing guests, but I think that this one really tops it. I don't know how we can top having this amazing guest on our podcast today, Mr. Joe Mantegna.
How you doing?
Oh, man, it is an
have to live
amazing...
up to that intro now.
It's an amazing honor to meet you, sir.
My pleasure.
We always ask every one of our guests who are on the podcast this one question.
Yeah.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
Okay. What is your desert island drink?
My desert island drink.
If
It would, would be, it would be taking a little of our Cafe Elegancia,
yeah.
and probably mixing it in a blender with a little ice cream. I tell you.
Oh yeah, like a chocolate
yeah.
creamsicle.
Yeah,
type
like a
thing,
chocolate creamsicle.
like a mudslide.
Yeah, because if you talk about an island and it's hot.
Yeah.
I mean, I just thought that up, in fact, because when you said, well, on a tropical island, it was, but yeah, but that or just maybe an inch of the either the blanco or the agave or the añejo, and then put one ice cube in it.
Oh, that sounds really delicious.
Yeah, that's good.
I like it. Well, you have a tequila here called Señor Rio.
Señor Rio. Badasio, me and you, we-o.
Is this a song?
No, it just made me think of it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How did you get into working with Señor Rio?
It was an interesting kind of convolution of occurrences.
Yeah.
We have. Do you remember the show The Booze Traveler?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So the host of The Booze Traveler is a friend of mine, and he came to me and says, "There's this woman, Debbie Medina, who has this company that I think you should meet because there's this whole story behind this tequila company that she is now sole owner of."
Mm-hmm.
And he explained to me briefly what that was about. And I says it was enough for me to say, let's do it. And as it turned out, I was going down to Arizona anyway to do a thing with the Chicago Cubs. And Debbie lives in Arizona. And I meet with this woman, and she tells me the story behind Señor Rio Tequila, which is a fascinating story. This whole thing, I mean, in a nutshell, it's baby girl who does not know who her father is because he left when she was a child, contacts her when she's an adult, says, I'm your father here in Mexico. I want to see you. Her attitude was, where you been all my life? I don't think so. And your young husband says, no, let's go. This is your shot to meet.
Mm-hmm.
They do it. They find here's this man who's now have 3 generations of making this tequila just for their own consumption.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, they're reconnecting as a parent to his child. Debbie and her then young husband decide, hey, this is serendipitous. Maybe we should start a business. With the blessings of the dad, they do it. That's who Rodrigo is on the bottle cap.
Oh, yeah.
He passes away.
Mm.
All right. Debbie continues the business with the husband. The husband unexpectedly passes away. Now you've got this woman running this business 100% by herself. And for the last 15 years, has been like initially selling it out of the trunk of a car and working its way up to where it's being sold in all the Total Wine stores throughout the country.
Yeah.
But now here she is without a dad, without her husband. She's got grandchildren. She's got, she's looking for perhaps somebody to partner with to like take it maybe to the next level.
Yeah.
And as I told her when I met her in Arizona and I heard the story and tasted the product, I said, the only last obstacle is my wife, who I've been with for over 50 years. She's got to be in.
Sure.
She's not in, it's no go.
I feel the same way.
Because we're bringing another woman into my life here on a big basis, right?
Right. Yeah.
Well, my wife fell in love with it as I did.
Cool.
And I've been with it for less than a year now, but I just feel so strongly about what we're doing, about the product we're selling. and the people I've been meeting, and even people like yourself. I mean, in this trade, in this industry, you meet a lot of interesting types.
Yeah.
Maybe because everybody's got, not that we have a little tiny buzz on, but it's just like, well, let's
Little bit of a
face
buzz.
it. It's a product that is to be enjoyed, safely and judiciously, but
Yeah.
whatever. It's
And hearing you talk about the story, and it conjures up cinematic visions in my brain, and I assume that maybe coming from the movie and TV background, maybe that was going through your head a little bit when you were first introduced. Like, this is such a great story. I'm attracted to these kinds of
a
stories.
great story, absolutely. Also, that too, and also look for. I'm going to my 17th season now of Criminal Minds.
Yeah.
And what's funny is my character David Rossi. I'm the one on the show they always have at the back of the plane pouring himself a drink and stuff like that. I said, well, David will be drinking tequila from this point on, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But it's like it's part of the culture of the world. I mean, let's face it. This wine and spirits and all it's not a phenomenon to the United States or to North America or this side of the planet.
Right.
It's and it may be existing interplanetary for all we know. So I mean, there's that universality thing about it. And like you said, there's a cinematic aspect to it too, and so it's all good.
Are there differences in these two industries, the wine and spirits industry and motion picture TV industry, that shocked you at first? That you're like,
Not yet. I mean, this
Not
convention
yet.
could be not much different than when I go do for like the Comic-Con or these kinds of things.
Yeah.
In a different way.
Right.
But no, I mean, like I said, it's also part of the entertainment
It is. It's
industry
entertainment.
when you
yeah.
think about it. So there's a lot of similarities.
Can we talk about some of your acting work?
Sure.
So I think one of your first roles was the Three Amigos. Is that correct?
That was an early one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was certainly in film. It was.
What a classic.
Yeah. I mean, I got to work with Chevy Chase, Martin Short,
Or Marty. I call him Marty.
Marty,
Steve.
Yeah.
Those are
Why am I basically on Steve's last name?
Steve Martin.
Of course, Steve Martin, the easiest name of all.
Of course.
Yeah, no.
Same last name as the first name of Martin Short.
Yeah, exactly. And that was a great experience, a lot of fun. Got to play. In fact, I think the voice I used for Flugelman, because I think I played the head of the studio then, I kind of changed that voice a little bit when I became Fat Tony on The Simpsons, because I kind of liked where Flugelman's kind of persona was. And so, I had Flugelman talk a little bit like this, but then I had kind of brought Fat Tony more down into this kind of a level.
Yes.
So I mean, it depends. Sometimes you discover things by doing other
it.
things.
Oh my gosh. I love that. I mean, that's what I grew up on, and my friend John is here too, and we grew up, kind of
Probably Airheads too. I bet you guys saw Airheads. Yeah, I figure. I could,
Yes, of
I could
course.
spot the Airheads fans. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
What was the line?
Not exactly right. They call themselves the Lone Ranger, right? The name of the band. Brendan Fraser and Steve Buscemi and Sandler. And I played like this. I patterned my character a little bit off of Howard Stern. That's why I asked for that wig. I said, give me a Howard Stern type of wig. And the name I chose was Ian the Shark. And I chose that because I worked for a week with Jed the Fish, who ran the rock and roll station out of LA back at the time. He was a big rock and roll disc jockey. It was called Jed the Fish. And I spent a lot of time with him, what it was like to be a rock and roll DJ and work those, and he was wild, he was nuts. And so as my homage to him, I made him Ian the Shark. And I had a little shark on the microphone. And anyway.
And talk about another classic, Godfather 3.
Godfather 3, yeah, I get to play Joey Zaza.
What's it like? What's it like playing?
Well, I mean, I'll tell you, my dear friend Vinny Guastafaro said to me when I got the role, he says, I can't believe it, man. You're going to be in Godfather 3. You're going to be in the Italian Star Wars. And I thought, that's probably the appropriate way to put it.
Yeah, it sounds
so in a way, yeah, I am in the Italian Star Wars now. And ironically, one of my closest friends in the world is Andy Garcia, who anyone who's seen the film sees. He don't treat me very well in that movie.
No.
But when people see us together, sometimes on the street, they'll go, "Oh my God, they like each other,"
Searching for Bobby.
Searching for Bobby Fischer. That's a special
you guys at
movie.
Home can't see or hear who's talking off camera here.
Well, because that's sometimes everything comes together. You take a movie like that. The guy who wrote it, Steve Zalian, it was his first time directing, not his first time writing. But he worked his way up, made that movie, directed it. The next movie he wrote was, and I'll tell you the little anecdote to it. We were finishing up the movie of Searching for Bobby Fischer, and we were like in the last few days, and he would run off the set, and I'd see him scribbling in the corner. I go, Steve, what are you doing? He goes, I got to finish this next script. They hired me as a writer for it. It's the next movie, and it's Steven Spielberg's movie. I go, well, what's it called? He goes, Schindler's List. And I said to myself, I'm thinking like 5 Easy Pieces, and I'm thinking, Schindler's List. I go, so it's like about a guy goes to the grocery store with the wife's list, and it's something to do with that. He goes, oh no, not that. And because of that, because Ben Kingsley, of course, was in Searching for Bobby Fischer, I think Steven came to visit us on the set, to meet with Steve's alien. And I think he met, Ben, and that's how Ben wound up being in Schindler's List. And so you think about it, we do this movie, Searching for Bobby Fischer, the next thing the guy writes is Schindler's List. And I think he was nominated for an Oscar for both movies. Yeah. Schindler's List, of course, won. But so you got Ben Kingsley and that Joan Allen I got to work with,
amazing people.
Amazing cast. Even Tony Shalhoub played he had one line, I think, in it. Even the small parts were well cast.
A mutual friend of ours that we went to college with was on Marvelous Mrs. Maisel with Tony Shalhoub.
Yeah. Like Tony he played. I think he had one scene where my son beats him in chess, makes one move, and that's it.
He's great.
Yeah.
I haven't met him, but I'd like to meet him.
He's a great guy.
So you've had an incredible career, quite a storied career.
I've been at it a long time.
You're still at it.
I'm still at it. I'm still chasing criminals every day. I'll be back in Los Angeles tonight because I'll be filming again tomorrow on Criminal Minds. We're on our 17th season.
That's amazing.
I'm here pushing this tremendous product, which I'm really feel very strongly about.
Yeah.
All the Señor Rio products that we have, I just feel great about the whole company. And that little lady right there.
Let's get the little lady. Let's get the little lady in here.
Debbie Medina.
We're gonna
talk to Debbie now. All right. Well, let's we'll give her.
Okay. Yeah. We'll introduce her. Hi, Debbie.
How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm fabulous. I'm here.
You are here. We're gonna
with Joe. It's wonderful.
We're gonna have you come have a seat in a little bit, and we're gonna talk with you.
Talk tequila.
Sound good? Okay.
I'll let her do the heavy lifting with the tequila.
Spin my chair here. Oh, our executive producer, Carrie, would like some insight into the break in between Criminal Minds, because was there a few years in there?
Yeah, well, what had happened is, first of all, we'd been on CBS for 15 years. Then it was done. We were canceled. It was done. Goodbye. No more Criminal Minds. And I think part of the reason was what a lot of people didn't realize. Criminal Minds at the time was not just on CBS. We were also co-produced by, I think, ABC. Other people had a lot of the syndication rights. So we were big all over the world. But I think CBS wanted that hour to themselves, 100%, that prime time. And so it was like we'd run our course there. Okay, see you later. We all thought that's it. Well, about a year or so later, when it became one of the largest syndicated shows in the world in popularity, I think calmer ideas prevailed.
Yeah.
And so CBS got together, Paramount Plus started streaming, which CBS is part of.
Mm-hmm.
And so Paramount Plus got involved, and they said, no, this is worth bringing back. So ironically, they had knocked down all the sets. They destroyed the plane. They'd gotten rid of everything. I just thought it was all going to be a memory. Next thing you know, I think that was one of the first things I released on social media was my assistant Dan shot me walking onto the sound stage, and you saw them building the BAU, and you saw building the airplane in the back, and it was like, guess what's coming?
That's awesome.
And I think that kind of let people know, yeah, they're back. And it's been great. We're in the middle of season. We did the last season on Paramount Plus, was very successful. We're shooting season 17 right now. We got held up by the writer's strike and the actor's strike. So it was like a whole year. Again, at first there was COVID, then there was the strikes. So, but I didn't forget what it was like to be an Italian FBI agent. I mean, I'm halfway there anyway.
Yeah.
Being Italian. So,
do you have the opportunity to do movies and TV while you're doing the TV, or not really?
I mean, I do other things. I've done some little parts on movies. I have another show that I've been doing for 13 years on the Outdoor Channel, actually called Gun Stories, which is not as ominous as it sounds.
Okay.
Because it's we trace historical firearms. It's indeed a niche kind of a show.
Yeah.
But what some people do understand is that the history of firearms is the history of the planet Earth, because every country has them.
Right.
And sometimes there's something historical behind them.
Sure.
So we've done episodes like the guns of Annie Oakley or the history of the Gatling gun and things like that.
Amazing.
So that's been kind of fun for me because it's not a lot of commitment, but it's interesting.
Yeah.
And my father grew up on a farm in Oklahoma after my grandparents came over from Sicily. And so there's a whole connection with that kind of rural life, and the company's based out of Oklahoma. So I did that partly for my pop. And so anyway, but yeah, I do. And I've been the voice of Fat Tony for 32 years. So I'm still doing that.
That's insane. 32 years.
And I'm not the youngest guy in the building, that's for sure.
No, but
so
you must be.
I
mean, you must be a pretty easy guy to work with.
I hope so. I mean, I hope so. Or I would like to think
they'd
they'd bounce me if I wasn't.
Right,
you know what I mean? But my feeling is this, though. Our industry is hard enough as it is. So whenever I go into a project, my feeling is let's make this as much fun and, let's be professional as we can. But let's make it as enjoyable as possible, because this is an environment that you're going to spend probably more time in than you are with your family.
Right.
Which we do. In TV and movies, you'll spend a 12, 14-hour day is typical.
Yeah.
So, I try to keep it
Right,
it lively.
Just be a good human.
Yeah,
Don't be a jerk,
exactly right.
Don't be a
I
jackass.
learned a lot from other guys. Tom Hanks, I did a Bosom Buddies with him years ago.
An episode of Bosom
An
Buddies.
episode of Bosom Buddies.
Oh my gosh.
And I learned from him. I remember on the first day you do a script reading with the whole cast.
Yeah.
And I was a guest guy. I did like 2 little bits on it.
Yeah.
At the time. This was back in early 80s.
Mhm.
And I remember Tom walking around the room, was the star of the show, saying, "Hi, I'm Tom. Welcome to our show." And I thought to myself, if ever I get to be number 1 on a call sheet, that's what I'll do. And I've been number 1 on a call sheet for 17 years now, and that's what I do. So you learn from guys like him.
Yeah.
The Fonz, Henry Winkler, another one.
Henry Winkler,
There's not a nicer human being in the world.
Yeah.
And you meet guys like that in the business, those are the role models.
That's awesome. Well, it's very inspirational to hear the story of Señor Rio and also your background and your stories. And I wish we could hang out and just hear your stories
Another time.
all day long.
Yeah.
Another time. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks.
But wait, are we
And-
going to taste? Should we taste together?
Hell yes.
Hell yes. Okay. So here is. I
the añejo,
presume
or
is it the
this,
añejo?
reposado? Añejo,
We're gonna try
we got the good stuff.
We'll try the añejo and then we'll try the coffee.
Yeah, then we try the Café Elegancia.
Café Elegancia. Cheers. It's lovely. It's
It is
very
lovely.
It's very clean and crisp, and it has these vanilla and
Exactly,
spice.
hits you right in the back there, but not sharp. Just-
Right, vanilla and spice notes. I like it.
Oh yeah.
All right. Here we go.
And
Now the
now
cafe.
this
Tell me
stuff-
about this Cafe
This stuff
Eleganza.
this is like a secret weapon stuff. You start with this. You have your evening. You're drinking your tequila. You drink it as you want to drink it.
Yep.
Maybe you drink it, neat. Maybe you put a little ice cube in it. That's what I like. I like to chill it up a bit. You hit them with this. Every time I've done tastings at the stores, they go, oh, this tequila's fantastic. Oh, now try this. And as they're about to leave with their bottle, and then they try this, and they go, oh, I need a bottle of that too.
Oh,
Am I right?
that is really nice.
You follow up the tequila with this, and you've got that tequila aftertaste with it.
It has a little bit of an herbaceous note to it. It's almost
We
like
got
a
a-
little minty.
Oh yeah, it's got Arabica beans that we use for it. I poured this stuff on ice cream.
Mm-hmm. Well, you guys, I guess, could have your own. I like it. It's really interesting. It's
Isn't it?
It's unlike other coffee liqueurs.
Oh
that
no.
I've had.
Yeah, this makes Sambuca taste like a Pepsi.
It's lovely. That's delicious.
Love it.
Well, we're gonna bring on Debbie next, but thank you so much, Joe.
My pleasure.
Pleasure
Thanks,
to meet you.
Thanks for
Pleasure to
having
chat
me.
with you. Hey everyone, Jonathan here. If you're into swag as much as we are, then look no further than our Cocktail Guru shop. The items in our store have been personally chosen, handpicked with care by me, I'm Jonathan, and my team of Cocktail Gurus. A water bottle with a stainless steel straw? Yep. T-shirts? Hoodies? Snapback hats, signed copies of Mr. Boston Bartender's Guide, cocktail box kits, bar tools, and more. You betcha. We've even managed to create a onesie for that mocktail lover in your family. So head on over to shop.thecocktailguru.com and use code GURU23 for 10% off your first order. It's a great deal. That's shop.thecocktailguru.com, 10% off with code GURU23. Cheers. Well, we are now here with Debbie, who's the president, creator, founder of Señor Rio Tequila. How are you?
I am fabulous. Thank you for having me. You know, this is wonderful. I love talking tequila. You find me talking tequila everywhere, so perfect.
Well, you have quite a story, and Joe was telling us the story about the brand and the product and how everything kind of came to fruition. And so, really lovely story, and I'm glad that you're able to tell it through the liquid.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's quite amazing, you know, to start a tequila company from scratch with really no experience in the industry after my dad shared his recipe at our reunion. It's kind of a big leap of faith, and to be able to say, here we are 15 years later, I mean, there's some staying power, I think. If it were bad tequila, I would be out of business.
I think so. I think you're absolutely right. And you're here at Access Live, and most likely in the hopes of, getting on the short list of some amazing distributors across the country.
Well, you know, Joe is so iconic that when, he decided to partner and become a co-owner, he said, it's time we take this baby and make it an adult. So, we are open to what the future holds. Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's awesome. And do you have any strategies coming up that you're excited about, for bars and restaurants or for off-premise or events or anything like that?
Well, we are committed to Total Wine and More stores, and Joe loves to go in, and we do bottle signings and meet and greets, and his fans line up, and there's days we sell every bottle of Señor Rio on the shelf. Yes.
That's the point.
Mm-hmm.
And yes, the bottle is very uniquely designed, and I love it. Is there any backstory to why the bottle is like that?
Well, when we were deciding, and again, we'll go back to 2006 when I reunited with my dad, in 2009 when we brought it to the market, we had that 3-year to kind of play with what do we want to put our tequila in.
Yeah.
At that time, most of the bottles were short like a bell, and you needed 2 hands to hold it. Well, our bottle's been called very sexy. I like to say it has the curves as a woman does, but the long neck is for easy pouring, so it's bartender friendly.
Yeah.
And the stopper, which is the chest piece, is actually a picture of my dad in his younger years, silhouetted in there, lasered in. And then the stopper is a rubber stopper so that it's airtight. You could have this bottle for 50 years and it's still going to taste like day one. So there was a lot of thought that went into the bottle. Even on the bottom of the bottle, you can feel the name, which is etched into it, Señor Rio. So I always said, if the bottle were empty and take the label off, I would still know this bottle 100 years from now. But what's also interesting is inside the bottle is a secret message. I bet you didn't know that.
I did not know that.
Well, why don't you pick up a bottle and take a peek?
Okay.
And look behind the front label, kind of from the side angle.
Oh.
What does that say?
Oh, it says sharing tequila.
And then on the other side, the back label.
Oh, it says is sharing life.
Yes. So it is our hope that when you open this bottle, you open it with the people that you care about. Your family, your friends, your close friends, maybe not all your friends. But anyway, it's a tequila to bring people together. It's sharing your life stories, creating your memories. Tomorrow's not promised. So we like to say celebrate life. And we hope that Señor Rio can be a part of your celebration as it brings generations together, like it did with my dad and I and my late husband. So the message is there so that we can just cherish the time that we have together. And you know what? Tequila does bring people together. I mean,
Yes, it does.
I like to say that it tells a story. There's such a history behind tequila. Our tequila is authentic, traditional, made the old-fashioned way. No additives, no artificial coloring or flavoring. And when you taste it, you can tell the difference because you are getting a taste of Mexico.
Yeah.
Shall we start with the Blanco? I know you had the Añejo in the cafe, but I would love for you to take the Blanco.
Okay.
Because, the Blanco is tequila in its purest form.
Yes.
We do not age it at all. So this is just double distilled and bottled immediately. It's a lowlands tequila, so it comes out of the town of Tequila, volcanic soil.
Yeah.
Salud.
Salud.
To our health.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
So the
Very
first
nice,
sip
very
always
lovely.
opens the palate, and the second sip is where you get all the wonderful notes.
Exactly.
How did you like that?
It's good. It's really nice.
You ready for reposado?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay. So the reposado, which everyone knows means rested, we rest in cognac barrels for only 6 months.
Mhm.
And it just picks up a lot of lovely layers.
That's lovely too.
The oak is introduced, the cognac sifts through, you
Yep.
still keep the integrity of the agave. So I really love sipping the reposado, mostly with sliced oranges sprinkled with cinnamon
Oh yeah.
after dinner.
That sounds lovely.
Yeah. But
That's
I'm a little bit of a
terrific.
cocktail girl every now and
Yeah,
then.
great.
Yeah.
Well, this is lovely. Thank you so much for bringing this to the general public and making everyone aware of your story and your message. And I love it. Sharing
Wow.
is caring,
Yes.
and tequila is life and love.
It's our pleasure. Thank you again.
Cheers.
Alrighty. Cheers.
Tipple Time is brought to you in part by Monin and Mozart.
Guess where I am, folks? I am in Las Vegas. That's right. I am at Libertine Social at Mandalay Bay Resort and Casino. This is an amazing spot, and I'm so thankful that my good friend Tony Abou-Ghanem allowed me to come behind the bar. But let's go ahead and make our first cocktail here. This is kind of like a chocolate-covered raspberry type of drink. I have Reyka vodka over here. This is from Iceland. It is actually, they use the water from the fields of volcanic rock. It is quite amazing, quite a sight to see in Iceland. I have Mozart Chocolate Cream Liqueur. This is kind of a variation on the Mozart martini, which is delicious. I call this cocktail the Composer. Oh yes. Now I'm going to add a little bit of my raspberry syrup, about half of an ounce. There we go. And you know what? I want to add a little, I want a little extra Mozart Chocolate Cream Liqueur in there. There we go. Now I will add some ice, and we'll give it a nice shake. Okay, you ready? There we go. Shake it up. All right. And we'll strain it into our martini glass over here. There we are. Oh, nice and decadent. Look at that. And let me take a little sip. Hold on. Absolutely delicious. And we'll see you next time. Cheers.
Tipple Time is brought to you in part by Mozart and Monin.
On the next Cocktail Guru podcast, so let's get this party started.
There was a song. There was a whole song about the Smirnoff Moscow Mule. I know you'll be excited to learn that it also glows in the dark.
This party's already started.
On the next Cocktail Guru podcast.
That does it for today's show.
If you enjoy what we do, please rate, review, and subscribe to the podcast.
To watch or listen to today's episode, or to see the show notes, visit thecocktailgurupodcast.com.
You can also follow us on Facebook,
YouTube,
X,
Instagram, or TikTok.
The Cocktail Guru podcast is produced by First Reel Entertainment and can be seen on EatsDrinksTV.com, Spotify, and Zencaster, or heard on Apple, Google, Amazon, or wherever you listen to your favorite shows.